Hello, my name is Hector, and during the next couple of minutes, I'm going to introduce you to the machine drum. There's going to be quite a lot of information. Hopefully, you'll be able to digest it all. Behind me, you can see the machine drum. It's basically a drum machine without compromises. Due to the flexibility of the sequencer and the sound engine, you're able to come up with almost any drum sound imaginable. This means that the machine drum is suitable for all types of music. This, paired with the user-friendly interface, makes the machine drum one of the sharpest rhythm-producing tools out there. The machine drum comes in two flavors, the SPS-1 Mark II and the SPS-1 UW Mark II. UW is short for user wave. They're almost identical, but the SPS-1 UW also features a sampling engine. This allows you to use your own samples in the machine drum environment, as well as doing real-time sampling. The UW 12-bit sample engine is perfect for adding some dirt and grit to your beats. Let's take a quick look at the panel. The machine drum is a 16-track drum machine. The tracks are represented by the LEDs here. Each of the 16 tracks can be loaded with what we call a machine. A machine is commonly a sound, but it could also be something which, for example, sends out MIDI data, records sounds, or controls other machines. You select the active track using this big wheel. The selection of assigned machines can be saved as a kit. The machine drum can store 64 kits. The sequencer controls the tracks. It's used to compose what we call patterns. A pattern can be up to 64 steps long and is linked to a kit. When you select a pattern, the kit can be loaded automatically. The trig buttons are mainly used for sequencing and triggering the machines assigned to the tracks. Press the first trig button to trigger track 1. Press the second trig button to trigger track 2, and so on. The sequencer can also be used to control other MIDI-equipped gear. The machine drum is not only an extremely powerful drum machine, it's also a very capable MIDI sequencer. Here are the bank buttons, labeled A to H. They're used for selecting patterns, as well as for applying mute, accent, swing, and slide functions to a pattern. The machine drum can host 128 patterns, and you can choose one of them by holding down one of the bank buttons while pressing a trig button on the sequencer, like this. Now I've chosen pattern B10, as you can see in the lower part of the LCD screen. It's as simple as that. What about the connections then? Found on the back of the unit is a headphone jack, 2 main outputs, 4 individual outputs, and 2 inputs. You'll also find MIDI in, out, and through ports here. The audio inputs are very handy when you want to process external sounds, or in the case of the machine drum UW, sample sounds. Let's talk a bit more about the tracks. Each track is structured into 3 pages: a synthesis page, an effects page, and a routing page. These 3 pages contain parameters that can affect the machine assigned to the track in various ways. As you can see, these endless rotary encoders correspond to the graphics on the LCD screen. The first page, the synthesis page, contains parameters which are unique to the assigned machine. These parameters vary depending on which type of machine you have assigned to the track. The second page, the effects page, controls the effects of the track. You have amplitude modulation, an EQ, a multimode filter, and a sample rate reducer at your disposal. These effects are per track, so there are 16 instances of everything. In the third page, the routing page, you'll find distortion, volume, pan, and LFO parameters. That's right, the machine drum has an LFO per track, meaning that there are 16 LFOs in total. These are freely routable to any parameter of the track pages. You can get pretty wild results using these. The routing page is also where the sends to the master effects are located. The master effects are global and consist of a reverb, a delay, a compressor, and an EQ. One of the most interesting aspects of the machine drum is the wide range of sounds it's able to produce. To achieve this, you can choose between 5 different forms of drum synthesis. TRX has a sound reminiscent of drum machines from back in the days. Deep, warm, and old school. PI is based on physical modeling. This method excels at both realistic and otherworldly sounds. EFM can produce really strange tones. Its character is best described as metallic, chaotic, and powerful. E12 contains a set of carefully sampled and processed drum sounds. This method carries the legacy of rare sample-based beatboxes. The UW method is only available in the Machinedrum UW. It's based on user-replaceable samples you can twist and bend to a great extent. Each drum synthesis method contains a range of machines. For example, there are machines dedicated to kick drums, snare drums, hi-hats, and so on. In total, you have 74 machines for the SPS1 and 130 machines for the SPS1 UW. You can assign any machines to any track. All this allows for a very impressive sound palette. Let's listen to a few examples. That was a brief overview of the Machinedrum, a drum machine capable of everything from classic drum sounds to really experimental beats. I hope you have a clearer image of how it works and what it can do. Thank you for watching.